Hello and welcome to a bonus edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I've just realised I've got the wrong glasses on. Never mind the wrong trousers, Wallace and Gromit. I had the wrong glasses. Yeah, what we're going to be doing today is solving a cryptic crossword, I hope. We're going to have a look at the Times cryptic crossword on a Friday, which is normally their hardest day. I have looked at the SNITCH rating today, and it looks like it is a slightly harder than average puzzle, but nothing monstrous today. So let's hope we'll be able to do it with some sort of aplomb. And in fact, let's just take a quick look at the stats before we kick off. So we can look there. Tom Stubbs is always a name I look for. A real solver, which many of these in the top few aren't. Well, actually, I'll come back to that. But Tom and I are normally fairly close together. So 944. Tom's taken on this one. Looking at the list here, Pontius is not a real solver, Ray Lewis is not a real solver, and Henry Wyatt isn't a real solver. Henry Wyatt is a very good typist. Verlaine, Matthew Marcus, absolutely a real solver. Those of you who watch this video who enjoy the quiz show Jeopardy will have seen Matthew Marcus appear on Jeopardy, I think last week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I think he did quite well. He won a few editions, so well done to Matthew on that. Mystigris, I think, is real. Andy Fisher is definitely real. So it looks like the super speedsters. So Matthew's the fastest real time that I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure at least Ray Lewis is not a real time. 5 minutes 35. That's what you can do if you're really experienced and super clever. Let's see whether we can. Let's in fact just zoom down a bit. Should we see whether anyone really good's made a mistake? No, I was wondering whether Mark might be down there, but no, Mark very rarely makes a mistake. So it would be much more likely to be a slip of the finger and a typo. Anyway, let's have a go. How do we start here? Like this. If you want to play these puzzles, by the way, the Times website is where you have to play them by becoming a member of the Times Crossword Club, which I recommend. Right, I rebel after pussy is put in a box. Okay, I rebel. I've got no idea. I think it's going to be an upriser. I think the definition here is I rebel. And then I think I want to probably put the word cat inside something inside a box, like a crate. So I'm thinking of constructions like that. But I'm not seeing the right answer. So let's have a look at this. Firm stocking my salmon. There is a type of salmon called a coho, I think. But that's right, isn't it? Coho is right. Okay, that's a weird crossword word that I know. So a firm is a company, CO, and I was thinking of why has it got CO at the start? Because stocking can be, so if you stock something, you have it within you. And a word for my, if you say my, you might go OH. So we put OH inside co, and we get coho, which is the type of salmon. So let's come back here. You see, I don't like this A in terms of a box. Well, unless we put the cat first here. Touching could be tactile, couldn't it? Yes, tactile is right. Okay, so touching performance in bit of board game. Well, if you a piece you move around a board game might be a tile, and if we put a performance, an act, if we put an act in a tile, we get tactile, which means touching. So this looks like, it looks like something like a word for a rebel here, and the whole thing means to put in a box, to categorize then. Ego. Gosh, that's clever. Okay, so I thought was just going to be the I as in the letter I, but it's not. It's I as in ego, which I think was the Latin word for I, although I never did Latin at school, one of my great regrets. And if you rebel, you rise. So categorize is to put in a box, as in to, you know, to label something, to stereotype it, to categorize it. So let's have a look at this. I'm thinking hectare, 9 across. It is hectare. I'm just looking at the end of the clue, area of land. Endless hell with weed. Endless hell with weed. I think TARE is a unit of weight. I didn't know it as a... It must be a type of weed, I think, as well. We'll have to check that at the end if I remember. I'm thinking endless hell. The word heck, if you said oh heck, it would be the same as saying oh hell, wouldn't it? So we take heck, we chop the K off the end, and we put it with tar, which maybe it's a type of weed. I think it's a weight as well, but I might be wrong about that. And we get hectare, which is certainly an area of land. So again, let's just look at this without looking at the clue. Can we think of any word? Guards? I don't know. I'm not really. Fair one is holding device. Fair one is holding device. I want this to end in vice for some reason, which it won't. Fair. If you're fair, something ride? Holding device. I'm sorry, I should get that immediately. That's where I'm bad at crosswords, is that I think, you know, good solvers just write that in. Right, eggy mass. Eggy mass, it's flipped over in dish. That's just quite a funny surface, isn't it? Eggy mass, it's flipped over in dish. Eggy, could that be roe full or something? I mean, roe is a type of fish egg. I don't know. I'm reluctant to leave that alone, but I think I must. Right, artist embraced by sailor in smooth dance. Or saraband? It could be saraband, which is another of these weird words I never ever would use in real life, but I think it is a type of dance. So, oh yes, okay, if you smooth something, you'd sand it, wouldn't you? And then an artist is this very common crossword abbreviation, RA, for Royal Academician or something, a word I can never say. But if you ever see the word artist in a clue, it's very often RA. And that's being embraced by sailor. Okay, right. Okay, so what's going on here is, again, abbreviations for sailors in cryptic crosswords, or short synonyms for sailors. A short synonym you might see is a tar, TAR, which is, you know, an old word for a sailor. You might see old or salt, I think sometimes you might see for a sailor. But one of the most common, you might see OS for something like ordinary seaman. AB for able seaman. AB is a very common. So what's happening here is the artist, RA, is being embraced by AB for the sailor, and all of that is in sand for smooth to give dance, saraband. So tricky. Well, I say tricky, but with a little bit of experience and that starting S, it would have been a write-in had I not been explaining it. 10 across, relationship established with talk and drink. Relationship. Ratio. Don't know. 6 across, fat female leading team. I don't know how they can use the word fat now. Hasn't that been Roald Dahlisized yet? This has to be enormous now. Enormous female leading team of scientists. Fat, no, it doesn't say enormous. It says fat female. Fat female leading team of scientists. Flab. Yeah, okay. So F can be female, and then that leads. It's ahead of a team of scientists. You might say a lab was a team of scientists, and obviously flab is a word that means fat. So 7 down. Briefly visits, looks in. I'm thinking. Small room. Small room is a lavatory or a loo. with son among relatives. Okay, yes. So, son can be abbreviated to S. That's this S here. And your kin are your relatives. So again, very much helped by having the starting letter of the L. They're so important. 8 down. Sweet vessel. It could be name of a sweet, like a butterscotch or a... it's not butterscotch. I don't know. Sweet vessel that's capsized. Boat must be made stronger. Back made stronger. Balustraded. Sweet vessel that's capsized must be made stronger. Again, I feel that is on the tip of my tongue, but I can't see what it is. Right, gentleman could be a sir, S-I-R. Back in prison. A stir is a prison. A gentleman back in prison. Is this the name of a prison? And then we need a word for a gentleman being reversed. Which could just be a man's name, possibly, although I don't know why it wouldn't just say man back then, rather than gentleman back in prison. I'm not sure. Don't know. I feel like, again, I feel that several of these I should know and I'm not getting. 12 across. Place limited by damage. It's open to debate. Something table. Place limited by damage. Damage is a cost. It's open to debate. Something that's debatable. Something that is... I don't know. Okay, we're going to have to, I think, venture further afield. Let's try 14 down. Water has flooded everything in rural community. Don't let it worry you. So I think this means don't let it worry you. It's in a phrase like, I don't know, sleep easy. No, water has flooded everything. So everything is probably all. A rural community? What could that be? A village? Not really. Don't let it worry you. Don't know. 15 across. Son of gardener, one with a shrub. Well, I'm thinking one with a looks like 1. This is the I is the Roman numeral for the number 1. Put that with a. So I think we're looking for the name of a shrub that fits this pattern. And the son of a gardener, I'm wondering if that's somebody who was in the Garden of Eden. So maybe Adam or Eve. Son of Adam and Eve. Well, that could be Seth, it could be Cain, or it could be Abel. Now, abelia. I have to admit, I am not brilliant at botany. But an abelia does seem quite plausible to me. I'm going to leave that in, but I'm very prepared that this A might be wrong. 16 down. Old folk can be canniest, surprisingly. Well, canniest is such a strange word. I'm instantly thinking anagram before I read the word surprisingly, which reveals, yes, indeed, it is an anagram. So it means old folk. And the answer is... it probably ends in S, doesn't it? I wonder if it's the name of a race of people, or whether it's, you know, just a word like octogenarians or something like that. And ancients. It's ancients, isn't it? Slightly strange plural, because ancient you normally think of as an adjective. Something is ancient rather than as a noun. An ancient. But I think it's ancients. Okay, so now we might be able to know, well, not really, but 11 down has an I in it. Whoopee-doo. Unusually, for time capsule. I'm thinking that might be an anagram of for time capsule. We're looking for 13 letters here, and that would be too many. Yeah, but okay, for time capsule, there's no fine. Well, F can be an abbreviation for fine. So I think this is an anagram of or time capsule, and it means material of value. Material of value. If we could just write this in, it would be huge. Something merit. Material of value. Something satin or... No, it's not satin, is it? Something price? I don't know, we might need some letters for that, but I think we've understood how it works. We just got to sort it out. Let's try 18 across. People who cast nets, fishermen, say, hang around on board ship. People who cast nets, say, hang around on board ship. Dredgers. People who cast nets would be dredgers. Let's just put dredgers in and see if there's any way of it. I quite like that G in this answer. And it's this... Oh no, I thought this had EG in it, which I was quite excited about for say, as in for example, but it doesn't, so I like this less now. Hang around on board... I don't like this. I've changed my mind. I don't think it is that. Alright, let's try 20 across. In short, hurry up to get the fellow something to eat. An edible? Hurry up to get the fellow. The fellow might be him. That's how you might refer to that fellow. The fellow over there, him. Something to eat would be a... Oh, I don't know. This is not going very well at all. Maybe 23. A short... Okay, that is easier. A record height. Well, there are two abbreviations for record you'll see quite often, and they're, you know, the old style records, vinyl records, an LP and an EP. Well, if we try LP here, A, LP, we get an Alp, which is certainly a height, as in a mountain. We get a P in 19 down. One politician, so I'm immediately thinking 1, that's our Roman numeral again, up for I, or I is the Roman numeral for 1. Politician is an MP, Member of Parliament. Told porkies, if you tell porkies you lie, so implied, and I've not even looked at the end of the clue, but the end of the clue says it's suggested, implied. So that tells us that we were reading the clue correctly. We get a D in, oh, we get an A as well in this phrase. Don't let it worry you. Let's try and get this word. Artificial lass, from what we hear. Okay, well, this is a homophone. From what we hear is saying we're going to hear a word that means lass or girl or lady. But the actual answer we're going to write in here will mean artificial. So if something's artificial, it's pseudo, it's lass. I think this could be the name of a girl. Artificial. Oh, I'm not done. My brain isn't working today, evidently. One may have a right to gain a state first and last. One may have a right to gain estate first and last. Well, the first and last letters of the word estate are double E. So I'm thinking something like alien-y. A right, a lien is a right, isn't it? Is that some sort of legal term, an alien-y? It's not one I'm very familiar with. Well, oh, no, let me correct that. It's not one I'm at all familiar with. I quite like double E at the end, and I'm prepared to believe it might be alien-y. But let's try, if this was N, does that help us with 3 down? Fair one is holding device. No. Oh, bobbins. Okay, let's try. You see, I'm clearly not on the right wavelength with the constructor today. Trendy business does poorly. If you're poorly, if you're ill, you are infirm. If you're trendy, you're in, as in popular. And a business is a firm. We saw that in one down. So infirm will be the answer. 27 across. Actually, in fact, or something like that. One gets several holy books. Well, one is this I again. Several holy books, I think, is going to be the New Testament, before a particular one. Well, what's a particular? What's a book of the Bible we could put in? 4 letters there. That's going to give us a phrase. I'm thinking of Ruth. And if we put in Ruth at the end of INT, we get in truth, which certainly means actually. So that was slightly easier. 25 down. Country hotel baddie being kept outside. Well, hotel is one of these words from the International Radio Alphabet. So Alpha, Romeo, Alpha would be A, Romeo would be R, hotel is H, so that's this H. So we need to put a word for a baddie, 3-letter word for a baddie, outside, because the baddie is keeping in the hotel, and the whole thing means, and is the name of a country. So pause the video if you can't get that. Think of the name of a country that fits is the best way of doing it. I'm thinking of Chad, and a cad is indeed a baddie. And now we've got a little bit of traction on 29. Extraordinary time with adults getting stirred up. Okay, well, this is an anagram. Extraordinary. Isn't it something like stimulated or something? I'm not sure. It's an anagram of time, the word time, and the word adults. And again, how do I see that quickly? It's because I see the phrase stirred up. Stirred up is so redolent to me of mixture. And anything you see in a cryptic crossword clue that could mean mixture could be an anagram. So then I'm immediately thinking I need 10 letters. How do I get them within the construction of the clue? And obviously it could be adults with, I suppose. That is possible. But with is such a strange... It just doesn't feel like it to me. I'm seeing time and adults as having to be put together. They are with each other. So extraordinary. Oh, okay, now I've totally misread the clue, haven't I? It is stimulated. Interesting. It is stimulated, sorry. And I've just realised why. So here, although stirred up is absolutely true, everything I said about stirred up was true, the word extraordinary can also be an anagram indicator. Because if you treat something in an extraordinary way, you sort of, I don't know, you treat it differently, I suppose. So if we make the letters of time and adults extraordinary, we anagram them, and that gets something that means stirred up, which is stimulated. So I spotted the possibility of stimulated, rejected it because to me it didn't mean extraordinary, and I'd read the clue wrong. Oh dear, never mind. Okay, so what's this one? Something metal? Oh, material of value. Precious metal. Yes, it is. There we go. So we were on the right lines with that one. We knew that one was an anagram. I just couldn't see it. Right, bad feeling. Animus. About sob stuff. Putting one off. Bad feeling. Enmity. Resentment. Sentiment. Yeah, I think it is resentment. Bad feeling. I'll explain how I got that. So I started off, I was thinking of words that meant bad feeling, and because I had the N and the M in the clue, I thought animus. And then I thought, I can't remember what I said, so it's enmity, I think. Then I saw the word about. Now, about in cryptic crosswords is very often RE. Because if you write re on something, re means about. You might see it on a memorandum, on a memo. The subject line might say re, staffing levels or something like that. It means about starting levels. Now, so then I was thinking, okay, well, can I put re at the start of the word to create a word that means bad feeling. I thought of the word resentment. And then it's a question then of just justifying it. Now, sob stuff is sentiment. And if we put the one out of that, one again being used for the letter I, you can see we just get sentiment. So we get resentment. Read it differently, resentment. That's going to be the answer. Now, can we think of the answer to this without looking at the clue? No. Lead pipe or lead pipe prisoner sits on. Prisoner, because it's probably going to be a con. Con and lag are the two short synonyms you'll see for prisoner, sometimes POW as well. So this is, okay, pipe is a duct. Conduct, if you conduct an orchestra, you lead the orchestra. So yeah, so that's clever, because it's very, very natural to read that as lead pipe. But in order to understand the clue correctly, we must read it as lead pipe prisoner sits on. So it's very nice phrasing. Now, in short, hurry up to get the fellow is not him then, is it? He, maybe? Something to eat. To get the fellow something to eat. Lunch? Lunchy? So this feels now. Oh, quiche. Okay. So I was trying to think of short words for hurry up, and I only belatedly thought of quick. So in short, the word hurry up means take the last letter off it. So we take the K off the end, add he to it. I thought we were looking for him for the fellow, but you could also say he, couldn't you? The fellow did this, he did this. And then say that correctly, and obviously it's the word quiche, which is definitely something to eat. Now, okay, oh look, we've got a P in 10 across. Relationship established with talk. Okay. And drink. Well, the drink we're looking for, I was thinking of rum when I first read the clue. Again, have some short synonyms for names of drink. Gin is another one you might think of. Sup, sip. These all mean, or either they're proper nouns for, or names of drinks, or they are verbs that mean to drink. But what about the drink port? And now if we put rap here, so a relationship is a rapport. If you talk, you rap. I think, that's fair enough. Put drink with that, we get port. Report is going to be the answer. So this was something about, I thought this was butterscotch originally, didn't I? Sweet vessel that capsized must be made stronger. But the answer is bitch. Made stronger. Sweet. Okay. I think this is going to be an anagram, or not an anagram, a reversal of a word that means sweet, buttressed. Oh, I finally thought of dessert. Okay, so that took me ages because I couldn't see the construction of the clue properly. But the way this is working is we needed a word for sweet. Dessert is your sweet. A word for a vessel. A tub is a vessel. It's a type of a very small boat, isn't it? We capsize the whole lot of that. Now, because this is a down clue, if you capsize something, you turn it upside down. So in a down clue, the word capsized can be a reversal indicator. So we twist it all round, and if you buttress something, you make it stronger. So this looks like sir, doesn't it? Back in prison. Oh, yeah, okay. This is a hidden. So if you look inside the word prison, you can see if you read it backwards, spelt out is the answer, S-I-R. Should I have got that quickly? It's very rare to see a hidden in that short a clue, so it's quite clever constructing. And now we've done well in the east side of the grid, but not well in the west side. I've not even seen this clue. Footballer George must be George Best, though. Fastest, briskest, yes. Okay, so again, all we needed to do there was have these letters in. See footballer George. Well, who's that going to be? It must be George Best. A chance is a risk. Put that inside. It's getting seized by George Best. And we get briskest, which actually justifies my E, which I had in my alien E answer. Now, oh, people who cast nets. I'm sure this is going to be a plural. Oh, okay. And dredgers is now proved wrong. People who cast nets. Trawlers, no. Hang around on board ship. Well, ship in cryptic crosswords can be the SS. You know, what's the phrase from the start of Undermilt Wood? The SS Kinwelly. Oh, I can't remember it. The SS Kinwelly. Oh, now it's got me thinking of the. Oh, now I'm thinking of Dylan Thomas. Don't think of Dylan Thomas, because it won't help you solve the puzzle. Where the Arethusa and the Curlew and the Star of Wales tilt and ride. Anyway, let's go here. People who cast nets. Say, hang around, linger, slingers. Okay, people who cast nets, are they called slingers? I think they must be. But if you hang around, you linger, and you've put that on board. We put it inside the ship, the SS. We get slingers. People who cast nets. Say, I suppose somebody who casts a net might be a slinger. They could also be, slinger could be a word for, I don't know, a baseball pitcher, I guess. And that must be why the word say is in the clue. Slightly strange choice. But now, can we get don't let it worry you? Cause, this isn't a Latin phrase, please. I'm just wondering if it's something like a cause, you know, a lost cause, or a sea could be water, couldn't it? Water has flooded. False alarm. There we go. Okay, that's quite an interesting answer, because I only got this from the wordplay. I wasn't thinking of false alarm at all. As you heard, I was thinking of cause, and then I was thinking of casus belli and things like that. But water, I suddenly saw, could be a sea. Now, that's flooded everything. So I'd already thought of all as a possible short synonym for the word everything. So I was thinking, what happens if I put sea inside all? And all of a sudden, ALSE emerged in the answer. And then I could think of false alarm as don't let it worry you. Obviously, you wouldn't let a false alarm, or you shouldn't let a false alarm worry you. So the rural community is a farm, which is an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, I suppose it is a type of rural community. But, you know, a farm is sort of, I don't know, a place where sheep live and you grow crops. I suppose it could be a rural community, a farmstead maybe. And so now I am thinking this is alien-y. All right, what's this word then? Artificial, made. Okay, it is, right. Made, if something's artificial, it's man-made, isn't it? It's constructed. Alas, what's a word for alas? That M-A-I-D, a maid is in a maiden, that would be a girl. But if it sounds the same, but we spell it differently, we can get M-A-D-E, which is going to be the answer. So this is something iron, is it? Something like, it must be a holding device. It's going to be a something iron. Grappling iron? Fair one. Grappling iron? Fair one is holding. Well, the words fair one do have iron in the middle of them. Fair one is holding device. Why is it grappling? I think this is something. It's something like this. I don't quite understand this. Obviously, I'm not seeing how this clue works. I mean, I've heard of a grappling iron, which is why I've put grappling in. I can see the word iron is hidden inside fair one. But what's grappling doing there? I'm not sure. Let's see if this P is justifiable. Place could be PL, that is an abbreviation for place. Limited by damage. It's open to debate. It's 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 I want to put dis at the start. Damage. If you damage something, or damages the cost. Place could be. What other words could be used for place that might fit within this construction? Nothing's jumping to mind. If you damage something, do you disable it? So that would be. That's an interesting thought, isn't it? So that would give us something like that. Disputable, yes, place if you put something. So again, I've sort of backed into this answer, disputable. Put, if you put something somewhere, you place it there. Disable is to damage, so place is limited, it's surrounded by disable. Disputable, obviously, if something is open to debate. Now that's sort of suggesting grappling iron is correct, and we're left with a funny word here. Which, again, I'm thinking I should just be able to now know the answer to this, because there cannot be many words that fit this. But I'm not seeing what it is. Oh, this is the eggy mass. It's flipped over in dish. What on earth is that? It's flipped over. Oh, okay. Is it roasty? Is it that word? So I think what's happening here is very awkward again. Eggy mass, I think, is roe, as in caviar. So eggy mass is defining roe. It's flipped over is then a reversal of the word it's, and you get roasty, which I think is a type of dish. So I would submit this with some confidence, although I have to confess I don't understand grappling iron. So let's submit it and see whether we. And there are a couple of difficult things for me here. It is correct, which is great. Now let's see if we can justify any of this. Here's the dictionary. So what do we want to start with? There's a few places we could look, I think. Let's have a look at an abelia. A plant, shrubs of the honeysuckle family, okay, named after Clark Abel, an English botanist, for those of you interested in etymology. Let's have a look at alienee. Alienee. A person to whom property is transferred. Oh, okay, so it's as simple as that. Let's make sure we can see the clues as well. What else do we have here that's tricky? Several things were tricky, actually. I'm just reading through, trying to... Oh, well, let's check roasty. I mean, that is... Oh, there we go. A dish of grated potatoes, shaped into a pancake and fried. Sounds relatively nice. Coho, some of you might not be familiar with that word. I wouldn't blame you at all. There you go, the Pacific salmon. The species of that, which I'm not going to attempt to pronounce. Now, grappling iron. I mean, grappling... There's the grappling iron or grappling hook, an instrument for grappling. A large grapnel for seizing hostile ships in naval engagements. Okay, that's all very well. Where's the clue for that one? Fair one is holding device. Fair one is holding. I think it's trying to say that the phrase fair one is grappling with. It's holding. I suppose if you grapple, you do hold, don't you? As in wrestle. I mean that's the word. I think that's partly the problem. If you grapple with something, do you hold it, or do you contest it? That, to me, the word grapple, I mean, I'll now be proved wrong. It does mean hold, doesn't it? To seize, to hold. So I think what's meant to be the way we're meant to read 3 down is to say fair one is. So the wordplay here is just fair one is. And the way that's meant to be read is to say the words fair one could be described as grappling the word iron. They are holding the word iron within them. So another way of, saying grappling iron might be holding iron. And fair one as an expression is holding on to iron. Very, very, very tricky to understand that. I was going to check rap for talk, actually. Do you rap on a subject? Do you talk about it? Let's have a look. Yeah, rap, informal talk. I suppose maybe that's where the rap music comes from. It's delivered in a rap, which is presumably a spoken phrasing rather than a singing phrasing. So there's a lot of interesting stuff in this puzzle. And I, for one, didn't find it that easy. I think even if I'd been racing, I would not have achieved a sort of sub 10-minute time on this. I'd have struggled with grappling iron always. I'd have got off to a good start, which I think we did with coho and categorise. And flab even, that was doable, but false alarm wasn't coming. And these sort of 10-letter words like disputable, resentment, I was never going to get those quickly. It's a funny one, because I would have thought I probably might, me getting saraband relatively quickly would put me ahead of some quite good solvers. But then I would have been left behind, not knowing that alienee was a word is not helpful. But it does show the power of wordplay, and there were several instances in this puzzle where I really needed the wordplay to see me through to a finish. So I hope that was interesting, and I hope it demonstrates that even if you don't know the words, there are 2 ways to arrive at cryptic crossword answers. And yeah, that's today's walkthrough. Is that what we describe it as? Stumble through. That's a better expression. We'll be back later with the Sudoku edition of Cracking the Cryptic.